What's going on, everybody? You know how we do these things live, and I'm working with what I got here. And it's going to be less about the pictures because you can go and find all of this information on many other people's websites and many other people's YouTube channels, including somebody that is. Let me find his name right here. Then I want to tell a story from the standpoint or the vantage point of somebody who is a well, I've built things. Let's put it that way. I used to dabble in the field of building homes, and I understand very well the length of time it takes to do things. And so let me tell you this dude's name so you can go check out a few channels. I mean, everybody's on here should probably already know about most of these people doing the Mudflood stuff. But check out this dude. His name is John Levy. Let me see his. Can you get his name here? John Levi. There you go, John Levi. And you could be from there. You're going to dip into everybody else you need to look into. But I've really enjoyed the work he's putting out lately. And I'm probably just going to play one of his videos with the sound off and talk over it after I just show a couple videos for people that don't have an idea what I'm talking about at all, and just see how obvious this is. There you go. Sorry about. See, this is what we're working with, guys. Because I don't have a desktop. So this is what you get. That is the Department of Treasury from the 1890s. That was built in 1890, right? Or even before that, right? Sure, sure. I mean, you can if you look at these photos close, and I go to this site called Shortby or Juniper Gallery. And you can look at pictures from the 1890s. I would suggest there if you really want to get into like how obvious it is with all these mud flood pictures. Let me just jump out of here and I'll see if I can find a couple other ideas of this old empire and what was already here. Here's one of my favorites. This is called the Castle of Culture. And here, let me go ahead and I want to tell you, I want to explain something to you about some of these stories. This is in Michigan in 1899. And see, you can already notice there these windows and things along the side here that are just not, you would never architect something like that. The rest of the building, everything that's going on here is so exquisite. And then they just, now we're gonna put some windows next to the floor, and we're gonna build a basement that's I don't know how many stories deep. This story is just, it's too absurd. But let me tell you all of this from the standpoint of, and I'm gonna play his video so I don't have to go through all of this and push buttons while I speak. But I want to go through this from the time frame of how long it would take things to happen, to build things, especially something like this one here that we just looked at is small in comparison to most of what we're talking about. This here, the Department of Treasury. Do you have any clue how long that would take to build today? Today. Let me explain it from here and then I'll play his video. If we started to build that building right there today, we would need an architect first. You would need to have somebody design it out. Now we have computer aided and design programs, CAD programs. So that right there speeds up the process quite a bit. But you'd probably need, and I'm just going to go ahead and play this video so you have something to look at. You'd probably need, you'd still need a lot of architects doing that work on CAD. It's still going to take a while. But to design something out, such as any of these giant buildings that we see in cities that were supposedly built in the early 1900s that we can find no evidence of them being built. But in every city, there's always these buildings that got destroyed during a fire. Yet all these buildings are made out of concrete and brick. Nobody's even realizing concrete and brick it doesn't burn. That's the reason it's being used. So one of these buildings, as we get into, see if I can find a good image. There you go. There's some cool stuff. These buildings, they would take so long to build in today's modern age, with all of the tools and electricity and everything we're working with. Oh, but what were those spires on the top? I wonder what those are. I would say free electricity, etheric. But anyways, so these big giant buildings. And I want to stop on one just so I can make the point out of how long it will take. Let me get right to something here. I do apologize. I just really wanted to get this out and explain this concept to people. Here we go. Perfect. This is a good one. This one here is, what is this in? This is a pretty big one. Oh, here we go. There we go. Here's a great one for it. I believe this one was in Boston. I believe this is the Boston post office. I think this is from 198 or this is from 1888. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the post office in 1888. Sorry about the wiggly screen. Do you know how insane that is? That's the post office. Right. So people came here in whatever year with horses and buggies and shit. Cars are just coming out. This picture's from a little later than that, I suppose, because there's cars in use there, right? Let me see. Nonetheless, I think that's that building, which they tore that down to make a parking garage there. And we already know that there's at least a basement to it, at least one floor, but probably more like three. So let me just say there's one, two, three, four, plus the top, and a basement. Let's say there's four floors. That's fucking gigantic. And we ain't even gonna look inside. We're not even gonna look at what's going on inside. And to think one of these buildings was built in a year or 2 years or even 3 years, right now, there's not if I said starting today, I want someone to build me that building, if I wanted that building built with all the knowledge that I have, I couldn't even find enough people that were good enough at doing this shit to put that building together. But somehow in the late 1800s, with people on horses and carriages and buggies and all this stuff, there was enough architects and masons and I'm talking about just people that who are actually putting their hands on it and doing the work with the concrete and whatnot. And yeah, and Brandon, so yeah, all this construction, no sewage systems, and most of these places didn't have bathrooms, or the amount of them was so very small. That's I'm not even going to get into that part. I want to get into the part that we explain how long this would take to build that, from having no tools. I mean, where'd they take all of the dirt that they dug out of the mounds, out of the ground to make the basement? How did they get it out of there? I'm going through just as an engineer, as somebody that has gone through project management and understanding what it takes to put a project like this together. This is fucking insane to do today, and that's why they can't do it today. No one today could build you that building. I mean, they could, but no one's attempting it. Why do the buildings we have today look like squared off giant pieces of shit? And the craftsmanship is low level because there's not enough people to do it. There just isn't enough high quality craftsmen. And we're made to believe that somehow this was built by people with no power tools, no sewage systems. Now let's get into all the technicalities of it. Where did all of the marble come from? Where did all the wood come from? Where were the shops making it? After you design this as an architect back in the late 1800s, you would need a room full of very high level architects, professionals, all working together for probably close to a year to design this building out. You would need a dozen maybe. That's real. You know how thick, how many pages of blueprints you would have to build that thing? Because you guys haven't even seen what's going on inside and how crazy it must be inside. You're talking about not even crown molding, but things beyond crown molding. Like the cornices and all of everything that's going on outside of this building is probably even done to a higher degree inside. Now, what else do we have to order for this building? We have to order paint. We have to order all the stuff to make the scaffolding, and everybody's got to eat. Let's not forget these people got to eat every day as they're building this thing, right? And they're going to be working at night. How are they going to be working at night? What are they going to be having fires going? I don't know about that. So they're not working at night. That's insane because I mean, at the time, what's up with that electricity? Not really rocking, is it? Apparently. So they got no power tools. They're carving things by hand. What about the days that it's raining? Well, was there no days of rain? Well, that's not. You can't work when it's raining outside. Not if you're working with, not if you're working with things that water could destroy. So now we got how many people would you need to design it? Then how many people would you need to actually be working on it? You would have to have master level craftsmen to do the work on the outside of this building and the inside of this building that couldn't be going on at the same time because you have to build the framework first and all of this. So it's like there's so many inconsistencies with how long they say these things are built, how long it took for that. I mean, they could take a picture of this here, but where's the pictures of the construction of it? You can't find any. Although the photography's been going on for quite a while now, but we can see this one picture of here. Here it is done. So what about all the? I mean to do this in a little better way and make it a little organized, but it's because I understand how much it goes into building even a small building. I could walk outside and point you to a building right now that has been going on for 4 months, and it's 2 floors and about probably 5,000 square feet. That means like the corner of this building. And all they're doing, they're putting up steel framework. They haven't even got inside the building yet, and it's already about 5 months in. Now, master stonemason build this type of building. You would need how many master masons to build that? How many to build that? You're talking a lot. Now let me just make this very apparent and clear that if that one's built there, at the same time going on all over the country, there's many cities. How many? How many dozens? How many hundreds of cities are building this type of architecture all over the world? No, I'm just speaking about America. You go to New York City. Go to New York City and see how many buildings were built within a small window of time. You would need tens of thousands in every city, literally tens of thousands of people that were beyond master level masons. And I'm not talking about master masons as in um, Freemasonry. I'm talking about actual like people that can do the fucking work. So it's the numbers are impossible, especially when you're trying to organize. You got to have all of these cars. Look at you got to bring all of the dirt out of the basement. Then you got to bring the all of the stuff in that you're building with the bricks and the all of the extra, like just think of all of the things, look around your house and all of the things that would go into building it. That's going into there too, but at a higher level. But we can't do that today. Uh, that shit would literally take. I can't even begin to think. Like 5 years today, 6 years, and that would be with computer aided design, cranes that work, um, power tools, but we're talking about people who are doing things by hand here, building things by hand. And if they're not, and if these are being shipped in, pieces are being shipped in, where are they shipping them from? You would have to when you figured out this is what you wanted to build after architecting it for it would take about a long time to architect that. Then you'd have to work out all of the extra little details about with the roads and everything. How are we getting everything in here? How are we getting the things out? Who's building? What about the windows? We got a window factory for that building. Well, a bunch of other buildings are going on. And yeah, don't yeah, let's not even get into that, man. You know what I'm saying? And Rod Law, all the stone that is built, shaped today is still hand carved. That's not true. Not all of it. I mean, I might hear what you're saying, but yeah, like there's some of it is prefabbed and some of it is hand carved. But that even at that, like today, in today's world, we have a lot more people, right? Apparently, don't we? And the ease of getting something somewhere, shipping it is much easier. You're gonna ship some handmade, handcrafted things down a bumpy ass road on the back of a, you know what I mean? Even if it was in one of these cars, how many horses would you need to pull all of the weight? That how much weight do you think is in that building? The numbers are so the numbers alone of weight of different kind of things that would need to go into making this thing are so ridiculous that would take 20 years to build, because these industries, when these things were built, the industries that supposedly went into giving these companies like the bricks and the mortar and the windows and the paint, who what about all the paint companies, where were they? There's so many, and I'm not talking about just one building. You have to multiply this by the entire city that's being built. It's like it's such an absurd thing. And and that's the thing, is getting into all the extra special things of like why the, like with the fireplaces. Come on, the fireplaces, even though they weren't fireplaces, right? And then cities getting burnt down. The fires are the craziest thing, right? How do these cities get burnt down when things are made of concrete and brick? I can't make that point enough to people. And somehow we know everything was built in the early 1900s. It's just booming. Everybody came to America. All these immigrants that came to America, right? All of them, every single one of them, for whatever crazy reason, all of them were masters at the craft of building houses. That's all they did. Nobody did anything else, except for the people that had to do all the other things to help build the house. Yeah, there's just I'll let this play on a little bit and see if I can't just make a little comment here to see if I can spur any more ideas into this. Because I walk around the city and I see all of this beautiful architecture and I'm like, oh, that will take this long to build, because I've built houses. I've rehabbed houses. I know the what goes into it. Yeah, here we go. Here's a nice building in Chicago. See the size of this thing? Oh, and you see those windows right there at the bottom? Nice underground windows that you'd have to be retarded. You can architect this whole thing, but you're so retarded that you put windows like that underground. It would never happen. It would never happen ever. You would never design it that way. Um, uh, an amateur wouldn't even do that. That's like lesson fucking uh, lesson 101 in design and drawing before you're even designing before they're even designing buildings. And so people are like, no, they just built all of these giant buildings. Let's not even get into the skyscrapers. There's so many skyscrapers out there that have basements that run 200 feet deep. So right now we got buildings out here. So we got, yeah, this art that's here standing is now a picture on a wall, right? Because they knocked the buildings down. Why? To destroy a past empire that was sitting right there. Look at it. Look at all those things. Yeah, you can build one of these skyscrapers. For every floor a skyscraper goes up, you need to have a certain depth go into the ground. Let me make that clear. If that's 100 stories tall, then you need a certain number of feet into the ground. It's simple, right? It makes sense. So you mean there was somebody who by hand in the early 18 or in the late 1800s digging out hundreds of feet, literally hundreds, like a football field deep into the ground by hand, or did they have some special tool I don't know about? And then where do they put all that dirt? Huh. And then they had to, as they're going to put all of the basement together, because their technology obviously is not as high as ours now, as we're told. So that big tall building there, man, man, we're gonna just put all the dirt on a bunch of wagons. How many horses would you need? How many horses would you need? Did they have enough horses to begin with? You would have to build this building and to build that building around the same time. You'd have to have thousands and thousands of horses. Not even, that's even an understatement. You would need more people to do more different things, because everything that goes into building that building, literally, like we're talking about, you got to have bakers. You got having people there cooking for these people. Let's not forget that. How these people getting fed? All of this shit. But there's no pictures. There's just a picture. There's no pictures of these things being built. Every now and then you'll find something that has scaffolding around it. Nah, I call bullshit. Yeah, you might they might have went and remodeled the top. They might have put a little something on the top, but I mean, I don't even really. It's just too much. Whenever you're like, man, this is when you're a kid, and they tell you these stories like, oh yeah, of course, because you don't have the critical thinking. But you sit here and look at this. Look at these windows down there. You would never, ever, ever design something that way. Man, oh man. What else we got here? I mean, the size of these things. Yeah, so you guys do your own research and go check out this dude, whoever's here. I'm not stealing his work. I highly suggest you check him out. His name's John Levi, Jonlevi. Sub to him and check his shit out. He's got some really good work, and there's a few others. As everybody knows, go to like Mudfloods and everything to do with that, and you'll get into all this. But yeah. Yeah, who knows about the what's the Ponce de Leon hotel or the what other one that has like no bathrooms or like it had barely any bathrooms? Like who would design something that way unless they weren't working with the same types of things? You're going to design something out so gigantic, so absurdly beautiful, and then just forget to add bathrooms? And this one, I mean, I just can't the size of this building is so absurd. Look at the size of this building. Yeah. Of course, Skyhopper. I'm just gonna scroll through a couple pictures. And as I was telling you guys before, it's called Juniper Gallery or um, Shorpy. Let me get off of this here. It's like we just didn't have the industry here. We just didn't have the industry here already set up, but somehow, so apparently, all at the same time, people were able to like start a business mining all of the things to make all of the bricks for the entire thing all at the same time. It's literally unbelievable. When somebody says something's unbelievable, like no, this is unbelievable. I don't believe it. It's a look at there's another building. See, you would never put the windows that close to the floor. You wouldn't do it. Makes no sense. Yeah. Yeah, John Levi brings up some preacher dude. No, Jon instance. Although he does, he's a cool cat. He's a cool cat. You'll like his voice is nice. He puts really good presentations together. A lot better than what I'm doing here. Just scrolling through. Let's see if I can find another. Oh, here you go. Every picture you look at. There you go, right there. You would never do that. Everybody's like, no, you don't understand construction. You don't understand this. I've read people's comments. I'm like, no, you don't. You've never done it. I've done this shit. I know how this shit works. That's not what you do. That's how you build. That's not how you build, and that's not how you design. And so that is 100% like proof that there was something got mud or water or wherever the fuck, something got buried. And so you would never build a building where you had to do that. Not to mention the fucking giant ones. Man, it's just so like how we let people how did nobody notice this? Well nobody noticed it because when you're in school you're just trying to get the fuck out of there and you're not really doing any research and now it's like you're looking back and you're like what the fuck? Oh man, you mean this was bullshit too? Well, of course it was. Let's see, find some more cool stuff that apparently they just got together and built in the eight. There's more stuff. There's everywhere you go. The Ignue. Let me see. Well, yeah, these guys right here with these cool clothes right here, really, they're fucking doing it. And you got guys playing baseball too, right? They're out there playing baseball. They got time to go and build a giant fucking here you go. The Vast Resort, Hampton Roads in 1895. Hygeia Hotel. Look at the fucking size of this thing. Now, everybody already knows this probably goes a lot deeper than that. Yeah, 1895. We had enough people to go put that together. Because everyone that came here, everybody unanimously knew that they brought their own tools, right? On those ships they came over on. Along with all the kids they shipped over, right? It's laughable at best. Oh, let me see what else. See what else I can find here. Oh, here's a fun one. I don't know what this is. Winter Wonderland. This is fun. I've never seen this one. Florida, 1894 Hotel Royal Ponciana, Palm Beach. Yeah, right. Yeah, Palm Beach too. There was so many craftsmen in New York City, Chicago, Palm Beach. That's all we did. We built these giant structures, but we forgot to put bathrooms in them, and we were so good at doing this. Come on, come on. Salt Lake City's a big one too. I mean, and walking around New Orleans, I see traces of it. I mean, not even to get into the star forts and everything else, but this is big stuff. Yeah, Mormons did, right? Mormons be living well, man. But yeah. So you guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this shitty ass presentation, but uh, I hope you get the idea that of what I was saying earlier, coming from somebody that has built things, that there's just no way these things are happening in 1880 in the time frames we're given. No pictures except for when it's completely finished. Except for when it's finished. I don't know about that. These low level people, they can't even hold on. Explain this to me. They can't even figure out how to make something better than a horse and buggy. Literally during that time, horse and buggy. They couldn't figure out how to do something better than that, but they can design out a fucking building like this. They can design that shit out. They ride around a horse and buggy and they design this whole thing out. That's stupid. That's literally fucking stupid. If you were to tell, I mean, a future generation, if you're like, yeah, we were convinced of this, be like, oh, how stupid were you? Like, no, we just were mentally ambushed as children and lied to about everything. Then like, oh man, that's good. That's a suck. There's the Ponce de Leon. How big is this motherfucker? What year? 1890s. Ponce de Leon. No bathrooms anywhere. Oh, we totally forgot about that. Totally forgot about putting bathrooms in there. What was Ponce de Leon looking for? Here, if I can give you a little bit more to the story. Wasn't he looking for the Fountain of Youth? So maybe these people that built it, and the story is that they already found it and they already knew and they didn't need toilets. They didn't have a lot of them because how often and what they were consuming was actually etheric, and they consumed if they did have to urine, if they did have to pee, they consumed their own piss, which is why Ponce de Leon didn't have to put any bathrooms in his hotel because all it was a electromagnetic. I'll make it simple. I'm not going to give you all the extra words, but that was a healing place for people. Yeah, here's these other ones. There's one in Barcelona. It takes 100 years. Could you imagine building something like that? Can't even. But these are done in a few months. Few months. We had it all figured out, but now can't even figure it out. It really is. It's uh, here we got okay. That's what we're working with. That's how it's here. There's this house right here. They didn't decide to build. That one's fine. That one's falling apart. But those other ones, no, those ones are really crafted because no, it's not the same people. It's not the same culture. It's not the same. It's not even the same class or whatever of people. They're completely different. These things didn't used to be churches. There's no such thing as Christians and Hebrews and whatever religion there was. These things were all for health. These things were all something else. Look at the size of these things. Not got that, but Ma and Pa, they don't know they don't know what's going on. Oh, here's one of my favorites because there's a building in New Orleans that looks exactly like this. It's called the Fountain House. Here in New Orleans, it's the Fountain Hotel. Um, and right now it's a Chinese restaurant. It looks exactly the same. It's the same architecture. I mean, it's exactly the same place. I just can't find when the. This is in Macomb County, Michigan, 1899. Let's just scroll in a little bit, see if we can see anything cool. Everything there, hand done. Oh yeah, get that. You get that done in a month. You're out of there. Just in and out, a month of them. Getting about like 80 of them done. So once again, go do your little research on it, and I'll try to. I would love to do like a real presentation on this, but there's so many people that do, and I don't want to step on anybody's feet. You know what I mean? Like if they're doing it, like follow them. Don't listen to me. I mean, listen to me because it's fun. It's a journey. But let me. I'll clean this. We're almost done here, guys. I don't really have anything else to say. It's just. The whole thing. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I'll show you a picture of. Here we go. Yep, built that. Probably took them 3 months. I remember they said they built this 100-story building in I think it was Chicago in a year. It's not even possible. Not even close to possible. Here's New Orleans and the Isle of the Dead at the Metairie Cemetery. Okay, let's look at the ground. Now I could walk you down this thing. That seems like I don't know what's there. When were these people buried? Wow. I could walk down this cemetery and it's gonna be a little different. Now there's these things are built better than the houses are built. They're gonna build them for the dead? Huh. Seems a little confusing. And they got concrete here, but not in the street. Why wouldn't they have it in the street? They couldn't figure out how to put down some brick pavers or concrete or whatever. It's just mud and dirt there. That doesn't make a lot of sense. All of that right there. Why is that different? And why are those so beautiful? And are dead people actually buried there? Or was that a doorway to an underworld? You know? Just a question. It's just a question. Yeah, where did they get all the stone from? Where did they get all the stuff from? I mean, let's see what else I can find. Oh, here's one. Anybody, all right, let's look at the inside of a building. Here's a good one. This is proof of what we're talking about. Look at this thing. This is called a pool hall. Hold on. That's a pool hall? You would build you'd build that step down there into the pool that way? And the archways and everything? No, you wouldn't. They flooded that on purpose. That's flooded on purpose. Without even a question. You can tell that wasn't supposed to be like that. Nobody in their right mind would build this big, beautiful building. Check it out. Big, beautiful building, all arched up, and then just like that? They just did that? No. No one would ever do that. That's so, I don't even know what the word is. It's tacky. That's tacky. You wouldn't do that. So somebody came in here and flooded that building. That's the only answer. There's a fucking dining hall right back there. Look, you can see the people dining. That's the way people did. They had a little dining hall, and then just right after they jumped. No, because that was never water there. They didn't build it that way. That's completely fucking idiotic. The bathing pool, it's a casino too, right? Of course. Make all the buildings, into the most important thing, right? Oh, he is. He's standing there on top of somebody's shoulders too. Yeah. Yeah. Photo op, homie. Get up in that photo op. So I highly suggest to check out these Shorpy and the other one. Oh, here's the inside. Let's here, just guys here. You right to this. Okay, here's this oh yeah, look at these ceilings. Do you know what that would take to do that in the ceiling? Look at that shit right there. Do you know how, do you know the level of craftsmanship and how, when I say I'm just saying the length of time. I've even doing drywall on this building, just doing the drywall in this room, but they didn't have drywall. It wasn't prefabbed. Do you know how long that would take? Can anybody consider that? And then that ceiling, you're upside down on your back, and you have to make every. I mean, who's who are these people fucking fooling with this shit? Oh, yep. Go ahead and just Sharpie Archives, Juniper Gallery. All right, guys. I think that's all. I mean, I don't really got anything else to say. I'll do another video where I try to clean all of this up and try to do it more streamlined for everybody because I just been ranting and raving. I'm gonna see if anybody had anything to say. Uh, what up, Brandon? Start gluing the magnets together. What's up? Yeah, yeah. We'll get into all that other stuff another time. And Rod Law, if you're still here, that's absolutely has nothing to do with it. Economy has nothing to do with it. That's such a simple-minded way to look at it, man. It really is. It's not economy. There's a lot of people with a lot of money that could do things, but it's just not done that way. There wasn't just rich people. It like those are some of those are supposedly houses or mansions, and some of those are supposedly hotels where everybody was rich. It has nothing to do with money, dude. Economy. Velvet purse out of pig ears. Yeah, Brandon Statement. Conspiracy are us. Yeah, go for it. So we'll dig in again later, everybody. Ah, yeah, yeah. We'll chat soon. Stay well. Do good things. Man, oh man. Good to see you, Courts.